You're listening to the We Are Libertarians podcast network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 193 of Lisa Intro and his favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I am joined by producer, co-host extraordinaire Dakota Davis and this guy in a black shirt over here.
Today's episode features the three of us talking to you about bills to watch in the Indiana State House, things that are going on down there, and the things that interest us the most. We also have some Henry County news towards the end of the episode. We have Susan Huhn took a trip up to the State House and decided to talk to a committee hearing about a certain bill that was of interest to her. And then we also have some new police tools that are coming to the city of Newcastle. So make sure you stick around to the end to hear that.
The guy in the black shirt is Jesse Riddle. We're glad he's back. I think this is 3 weeks in a row. We're gonna have to get him an honorary.
Were you on here last week?
I was on here last week. I don't think I was on here 3 weeks. It was like
no, you were on here the week before.
3 out of 4.
Yeah,
3 out of 4.
You were on here the week before. I was on here with you.
Well, whatever. It's
so.
been many times now.
This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Make you, force you, we're going to do it. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you will always learn something new. Dakota.
That's right.
We just did a sweet Patreon episode.
Yep. Patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. That's where you can go to support the show every month at a monthly donation level. We encourage supporters to go in at $5 or more a month, but you can go in at any level and we'll still give you access to some things.
Did you listen last week, Dakota? Jesse said he was signing up. Did you? I know you're the one that monitors that. Did we get him? Did he sign up?
I didn't get Jesse.
Is he in? Jesse said he was signing up.
Signing up for what?
Patreon.
Oh yeah. I supposed to sign up for a ballot.
Not only do we make him show up, but he also has to pay to be here.
I'll give you one Doge.
Buy our love. Hey, I'll take it. That's a 50 cent. No, it's a 5 cent value right now, roughly.
Maybe by the end of the night, it's 10 or 15. We'll never
Could be
know.
6. Nobody. Yeah, I'll tell.
Maybe I should. I might up my limit now.
Well,
I might set a second sell limit for like 15 cents. You think it'll get there?
No, I don't know, but
I doubt it.
That's why I bought Boss more.
Well, all of this was in the Patreon episode.
Yeah,
it's spilling over. You should definitely join the Patreon and see what.
Well, this is advertising you can Patreon.
Get your stock tips.
Also, see what this beer is about.
Oh, yeah,
pickled back beer.
It's very weird.
It is Dakota's favorite thing is a pickleback. So that's they made it a beer fan. A beer version.
So I like breakfast shots. You ever done one of those?
Yes,
those things are delicious. Anyway, sorry.
We're going to Nashville in a couple weeks, and I'm getting
Jesse won't come. Jesse refuses.
Correct.
He refuses to participate.
I'm not leaving until Friday afternoon, so you can leave with me. You can drive down there with me.
I'm just not going to go.
Okay. Fair enough.
Watch out for RVs. That's all I can say.
Oof, too soon.
Not really. It's not even in the news anymore.
Yeah.
I was...
Anyway, we have people to thank. If you join Patreon at $50 or more a month, then you get a shout out at the front of every episode. Those folks, the three greatest folks in the world right now, are Mr. Chris Lamb, good friend of the show, Miss Christy Avery from all the way in Fort Wayne, and then Mr. Jonathan Phillips, our favorite car dealer, Andy Moore, Buick GMC. You tell him Boss Hog of Liberty saying you. We also have a good friend, Anthony Meyer of the show, another Patreon member, who is, he has a GoFundMe set up right now. And we'll see if Jeremiah can post links to all these things like the producers usually do. Anthony has a GoFundMe set up. He's a long-haul trucker. He drives his truck all across the country to make sure that goods still get delivered to stores in the midst of a worldwide pandemic. And he is trying to take his trucking independent. He's trying to go out on his own. He needs to raise the money to do that. So Anthony's helped us out a lot on the show, and we want to try to help him out as well. We also have T-Chip stores, tchip.com/BHOL1234 or BHOL mug. That is where you can get your merchandise. We have masks at BHOL4. Jeremiah placed a huge order this week.
I did. I can't wait till my merchandise comes in.
So, and then, also join the Patreon to see what our real thoughts are about T-Chip.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll just plug that there for a minute.
I was sidetracked. I was like, I need to make this easier for you guys. The whole BHOL 1, 2, 3, 4 thing is very confusing.
It's BHOL1, BHOL2.
Oh, I got it.
BHOL3.
But what if you just had one link?
Because if you go, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
It's
I don't
Dakota,
know that.
Dakota in his complicated life. It is what it is. It is.
I don't
what it is.
think that
if we had
T-Chip-
more than one link, we probably would have a lot
Here's
more
the
sales.
problem. Here's the problem. A long time ago.
Yep.
Sometimes
In a galaxy.
it's better
Like
to have.
I'm talking about 3 years ago.
Yep.
There was we had an old logo
Yep.
that I made
Yeah, I
on the
remember it.
computer, but I made it with
He made
clip
it on
art.
the dot matrix
Sure.
printer.
I took clip art. I found a clip art of a
Microphone.
microphone. Found a clip art of the Libertarian Eagle, the Freedom Chicken. I put it on that.
I have
found,
a feeling this show is not going to go anywhere that it's supposed to go tonight.
Yeah,
so I'm
probably
giving up notes.
I found clip art of headphones and put them around it, and then I found clip art of a banner and put the name of the show in it. And we started
actually freestyling now.
we started a Redbubble storefront.
Gotcha.
Redbubble.com. And it was going good. You could add all the different merch you wanted, and it looked almost kind of like it was your own custom website.
Sure.
It was very customizable. It was great. It was like the MySpace of merchandise. And
Then Facebook bought it and it went away.
no. And then they were like, hey, you didn't create this microphone. This is clip art. It's copyrighted.
Ouch.
So we got banned from Redbubble.
We got thrown out of the Redbubble.
Yeah. So then
Which
we
is
went
kind
to,
of BS because we bought the base item. We bought the
Yeah,
base logo.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we
That
paid
was the other
money
thing.
for that.
I purchased the microphone. Like
Yeah,
I found
One
it.
of us did.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone did. I don't remember. It's
But,
3 years ago.
you probably didn't have like license to use it for resale.
For money making, I guess.
Apparently. That sucks, man. That happens.
So then we went to Teespring, and Teespring just kind of sucked.
Yeah.
It just wasn't that great.
Well, we'll talk. We'll talk after the air. We can go on. I just was like, man, that sucks that you have to go through that whole B-hole thing every single time.
Yeah.
So B-hole 1, B-hole 2,
Getting stolen from.
a lot of B-holes.
Getting stolen from. All right, let's roll into the show. A lot of this is going to be covering the Indiana General Assembly, things that are going on down there. What's caught my eye, what's caught Dakota's eye, and Jesse's here just to provide the anarchist perspective. Whenever
Sure.
something goes terribly wrong, he'll let us know why government shouldn't be involved at all.
This section's called Bills to Watch, and we ain't talking Crosby
So
or Cosby. Or
keep an
whatever
eye on your
that was.
drinks,
Cosby,
everybody.
yeah.
Mike Kreider, former show guest. Mike is the state senator from
You know.
Hancock County.
Yep. And all the other ones I have the bill numbers, but whenever I was right, this I saw a long time ago. I don't have any updates of where it is right now, and I can't even remember the bill number, to be honest with you.
I'll try to fill in the
It just
fill in
came.
the blanks for you.
It was just on the top of my head whenever I was writing the notes. I know that it's like Senate Bill 199 or something like that, I think. Anyway,
It is Bill 199.
Mike Kreider, Greenfield,
This is a Mike Young bill.
Hancock County.
he has, I know specifically that Mike Kreider authored a bill
Maybe
because
he's
I was like,
co-signer.
oh, Mike Kreider. Yeah, he might have been a co-author or a sponsor. I think he was a co-author, actually. Anyway.
Continue on. I'll fill in the details in a second.
Mike has at least sponsored a bill that creates harsher penalties to those that are convicted of rioting. This was spurred on because of the Black Lives Matter, George Floyd protests that happened in, when was that? May, June of 2020?
Summer 2020.
Yeah, summer of 2020.
Summer to remember.
Our summer of love. And it would keep the people who are convicted of these crimes of rioting from holding government jobs. So you could never work for the state or for local county governments. And you also could not receive state benefits. So if you got convicted of rioting, you did your time, then you couldn't get back. You couldn't use the state funds to get back on your feet again. It's odd. Because like I feel like rioting's already a crime. It's kind of like
well, we already have crimes that we already have.
It's like hate crime legislation. It's the same.
Yeah,
it's the
it's
same
very
story
similar.
of murder's illegal, but it's even more illegal if you kill somebody that was in hate because it was based
So if
on
you
their
riot, but riot in hate, then
orientation.
you're going to get the book thrown at you.
yeah, that would not
Which
be a good
I
look.
feel like all the riots are in hate, but all right. Yeah. So the question is this the right course of action?
Yeah. Do you think that there needs to be higher penalties for those that are convicted of rioting?
Jeremiah?
If there aren't, I'm still trying to figure out what
It's
bill he's
State
talking
Bill
about.
34.
Oh, it's
Or
is it
Senate
34?
Bill 34.
Is,
I
okay,
think so.
199 is the one I found. Which
Good morning
which
to
is
anyone except the authors of SB 34, which will not go before the committee of a hearing, blah, blah, blah.
unlawful assembly. There we go. All right,
And it was Senator James Tomes.
and Mike. Crider.
Yeah,
Mike
there's Mike
Crider.
Crider.
Unlawful assembly
co-author.
provides that a person convicted of rioting is not eligible for employment by a state government or to receive certain state and local benefits. Removes immunity from the Indiana Tort Claims Act for failure to enforce a law if failure to enforce a law occurs in connection with unlawful assembly and constitutes gross negligence. Allows for the civil forfeiture of property that is used by a person to
That
finance
was
a
the other
crime
part of it. Yeah.
by a person who is a member of the unlawful assembly.
Can you repeat that part?
So they can just take your shit
If
you
you-
were in the mob.
If you drove people to the protest that turns into a riot, then they could take your car.
Allows for civil
Gotcha.
forfeiture of property that is used by a person to finance a crime committed by a person who is a member of the unlawful assembly. Boy, that is a slippery slope right there.
Well, I was going to say, it's exactly like hate crime bills.
Prohibits a person from being released on bail without a hearing in open court. Establishes rebuttable presumption that bail, it's a bunch of stuff dealing with bail, and then noting what kind of enhanced criminal penalties there could be for rioting, obstruction of traffic, criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, adds a sentence enhancement to battery. So it does a bunch to stiffen and thicken this up. Rioting's bad. I don't think that anybody got prosecuted, or very few folks got prosecuted last summer anyway. So this is a feel good bill to me.
I think, there are definitely people I think that got felonies, especially
In
It's not
Indianapolis,
Oh yeah,
Of the-
I've
a handful.
kind of been communicating
I know there
with somebody
there-
that has. Yeah,
a handful, but it wasn't widespread. I don't know that the penalty should be any stronger, and I definitely don't know that I would be in
I don't-
favor of this civil asset.
I don't like
forfeiture
this
thing.
bill. I don't like this bill at all.
But we already have laws to protect from everything that you could go wrong with rioting. So why are you trying to amplify it? Like it's not shocking that it's a Republican bill.
So at this point, this bill
I don't know. It kind of is.
Not
Because
for
then
us, per se.
that would that apply to all the folks
deep
that
down, Dakota still has some Republican love in him.
I think it's kind of a little bit surprising because the most recent riots in this country were Republicans.
Sure,
So
that's the fringe, and even them, like even some Republicans are against that too, right?
So
it's-
we know Mike
that's
though.
true.
He's from a law enforcement background, right?
Yeah.
So he's by nature going to be in favor, or this is in his wheelhouse.
right.
From his background he has in
What was he for Greenfield and or Hancock County?
conservation officer.
All right.
I love your dismissive tone, Riddle.
Well, because they have so much power, it's just hilarious. But anyway,
conservation officers have, some could argue, more authority than police officers.
I think they're strong. They're the only person that can. Are they the only people that can like arrest a sheriff?
That's the coroner.
It's cool.
No, the conservation officer is the only one that can execute a goose without a trial, just completely kill a
Despite if
goose.
they're from Canada.
The Newcastle turkey had no hopes if the conservation
That's
officer
right.
showed up.
I forgot
Just
about the
certain
Newcastle
death.
turkey.
Have you ever
Certain
watched
death.
Northwoods Law?
No.
It's a really good show.
But so historically, though, I'm just saying, like, it's not surprising to me. This is like being pushed from, especially from people like Mike Crider. Like, it's just a power grab for them to kind of bully and punish the people that they just they don't like on a different level.
I think the problem with me is like the definition of rioting is way too vague. It's just like the slippery slope that you get into what constitutes hate speech.
Well, that's why, again, they couldn't say like that was the problem during quote unquote summer of love, I guess, is
I say that because
we're saying this
Were
is
you
a
getting
riot.
a lot of loving? Because most everybody else was just stuck at home with their mask on.
No, I was not.
the joke there is that the mayor of Portland, whenever Chaz broke out, the mayor of Portland gave a speech and he said, "This is our summer of love."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a guy was trying to film Chaz and got shot.
Yeah. But I think that
Dakota's bill numbers are
Am I off?
absolutely murdering me over here. I'm trying to keep up, and he says Bill 1227, and it's a Mike Karikoff bill dealing with $50 increased payments for state
maybe you grabbed
teachers
the wrong
union.
year.
Well, this one came from an IndyStar article, so that's their fault. The next two came from IndyStar articles.
But yeah, again,
I'm going to click on the bill and try to carry my way through.
It's the same thing, I guess. Like I see it. We already have laws that protect people from these things.
Oh, this
we
is
don't need more laws.
This is a 2020 bill.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Wrong.
I feel like we've done this before.
So a year ago, this was a thing.
What was? Oh no, that was
This was dealing with electric vehicles.
that was Juice's podcast that we dealt with something that happened a year ago.
That's odd because the title of the article said 2021. Because
Where's
as
the
I was-
article? The IndyStar
because-
article.
Let me see if it's still in my
we
Google
found a
history.
deep fake problem at Gannett.
Put IndyStar.com and then put electric vehicles, and then do a minus and don't put Blue Indy because of that shit storm.
Maybe it was a WFYI. I can't
He
remember.
doesn't even know where he pulled his sources from.
I love that he links. I made a bunch of links. I added it and cleaned it up as we get further in the show. Dakota was probably in the Porta-John at work today and put this together, which is an amazing.
I was sitting in my truck.
I like my story better.
Because he's like, "Hey, you got those show notes?" And he's like, "Thumbs up, dude, got it."
Yeah, I got it. No problem at all. Just grab some
But-
shit. No, nobody's gonna fact check me.
What makes this even more funny is that I was sitting here writing this one, and I was like, and that sounds like I'm pretty sure that we've already talked about them adding a tax on
It's
EVs.
a very common thing. I've seen this. This has happened many, many times.
I was like, I feel like we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
So then I went back to the article and made sure that it said 2021. And I was like, damn, they're doing it again.
Playing the hits over here with Dakota.
Are you an active viewer? Because if your account is tanking, it's like Dogecoin.
I
It's just,
can't even look. I'm just trying to find the article, something to make this make sense, and pull it back in and say, no, you're not crazy, Dakota. Here you go. I'm desperately trying.
It definitely was an IndyStar.
either way, they should not be.
There are two bills dealing with electric vehicles.
Let me go through
1168 is dealing with advanced technology in cars, and 1385 is dealing with pilot programs of, I don't even know.
So
Who knows?
all right. Well, we just
knows?
opened up solid 30 minutes to fill.
Well, yeah, we're doing great. I have full confidence in what we're doing, where we're going, what's going to happen. But man,
Here it
that
is.
was funny.
It's from the Indianapolis Recorder. 2021 legislative session. What bills to know and what to watch.
Ew.
Okay, and
Do they have a phone
It is-
number? Can
and-
we call them live? And be like,
and-
"You
It is.
guys."
I'm looking for the author's name. His name written by Tyler Fenwick
Let's get Tyler on the line.
in January of 2021. And
I'll try to find him on Facebook. Find somebody. You're wrong.
we're now just going to troll the Indianapolis Recorder, the second newspaper.
We're on a live podcast, and you're feeding us bullcrap.
We're
well,
very
there's
upset.
another good thing that we can fill our time with here, and that would be the redistricting happens this year. So they're going to call a special session for redistricting whenever they get their census statistics back.
This is
But
quite true.
They think that that is going to be delayed. They usually get those in March, but they're pretty sure that that's going to be pushed off to the summertime, right?
I did have a conversation with our friend Abdul Hakim Shabazz. And when I say our friend, I mean my friend, because I don't know if Dakota's ever actually talked to Abdul.
I met
But my
Abdul
close
at
personal
the
friend,
2016 Republican Senate debate.
Oh, yes. Well, it wasn't 2018. It was 2018.
I
Was it
met
18?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, it
18.
was 3 years ago.
I met Abdul, and I made him give me some hot sauce from behind the counter.
You made him work.
Yeah, I did.
You made him work.
And
So-
I didn't say anything else to him. And I was like, all right, thanks, dude.
Anyway, yeah, so I did talk to Abdul, and what's going to happen is that they're going to. The census is running late. It's not going to come out till April. The General Assembly should have finished redrawing the maps this cycle, but they're going to call them back in. And in the summer, they will. That once they actually get the numbers,
they're going to call a special session for this, but they wouldn't call a special session whenever the governor was egregiously overstepping his bounds.
So the last time when Dakota was in diapers and we redistricted,
what year was it?
10 years ago.
You was in diapers.
He was a 23. You're 13, probably. Not quite shaving yet.
I'm not 23.
Well, this actually happened. The last time they redistricted, we're running behind already on this. So it was 2009 and 2010.
I was driving.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so Dakota was 11. And
he's hung up on this.
He's very worked up.
So anyways, so we're behind.
Yeah, we're running behind anyway. But there were some proposed maps that came out. There was public debate. Things happened.
Yeah, gerrymandering.
Now what's going to happen, because they do this behind, they're behind the 8 ball as it is.
Yeah.
The people that get to make the decision are going to make the decision.
Right. Who makes the decision?
The House and the Senate draw the maps. And that's the supermajorities of the Republicans.
Are they cartographers?
No, what they do is they say, well, let's see. Mike Crider lives in Hancock County. So we're going to make sure we protect Mike Crider's seat. And this guy lives.
That's why I said gerrymandering's a bitch.
They're going to draw it exactly the way they want to, and it's going to be successful for those that are in power.
So I have a question for you.
And they're going to make sure that they're safe seats so that they don't have to run as hard and they don't get competition.
My ignorance is, how do other states do this? And why is it every state this messed up, or is it Indiana explicitly one of the few that have this problem?
Iowa does it through a nonpartisan commission.
Okay.
So they use a computer and it spits out reasonable districts.
Yeah. Because it seems like something AI could almost solve for you.
And that's what they do over there.
As long as
easily.
10 years ago, Todd Rokita, who's now our Indiana secretary, Indiana attorney general.
Yep.
He spent some time running for governor, spent some time running for Senate, and he was a congressman there for a while too. But he was Secretary of State 10 years ago.
Sure.
Great Secretary of State. He had the whole rethinking redistricting plan came out, and he said, hey, in every state Senate seat, we're going to have 2 state House seats. They're going to make sense. They're going to be communities of interest. They're not going to be these squiggly lines. It's actually going to be appropriate. That was the plan he had. The state legislature said the hell with it. Yeah. The first draft of the Senate districts that came out for our area, we were going from Henry County all the way to Irvington, following US 40.
All the way to Irvington?
All the way to Irvington was going to be the same state Senate seat. So the people in Irvington were going to be represented by the same state senator that represented here.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Right. So that's what was going to happen.
I know those people. I like them, but no, thank you.
Because Henry County and our concerns about
Halloween
wind energy and solar energy and CAFOs are exactly the same thing as Irvington and what their crime issues, right?
Right.
Same thing. The same state senator can handle both of them.
Festival.
The Halloween festival, rebuilding Blackacre, all of the stuff over there that has to happen. Irvington, for our international listeners, is a very lovely, tiny little hamlet on the east side of Indianapolis, inside the Beltway.
Yep.
They were going to follow them all the way out there. It was going to pick up Greenfield. It was going to pick up Gem, all the little snap dots.
Gem would screw everybody.
Yeah. Those Gem voters are very unpredictable. So
I think they're literally all renters. It's like the Gem Motel, and there's everyone renting. It's like communism in practice.
But that was what happened is they got publicly shamed. 10 years ago, those maps came out and everybody was like, what the hell? No, this does not work. So they went back and they made the maps better. I think what's going to happen this time is you're not going to get the public shaming opportunity, and they're just going to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Sure.
And they're going to come in for one day to rubber stamp it, vote on it. They're not going to bring them back a second day to redraw them, remap them, whatever. They're going to do it, and it's going to happen.
This is what supermajorities look like.
Correct.
Yeah,
so that's my expectation. Now, I always set really low expectations for the government and then hope that they can just jump over that bar.
Right. Yeah, I was curious how other states do it, because
there's a lot of states that are just as screwed up as us.
I was going to say, you would need to look at a sister state, something that's very reputable to Indiana.
Iowa.
Iowa's pretty close.
I guess.
It's an I state, very agriculturally based.
Mostly agriculturally based. I don't think Des Moines even crack in the top 25 in cities, but whatever.
Patreon member
Chris Bilbrey is sharing with us a
Senate
Mike
Bill number
Gaskell,
179.
Henry County's northern senator, has introduced a bill saying that commissioners should be basically put into your districts. So if you're the middle district commissioner, you get voted on by the middle district people instead of everybody in the county voting on all the commissioners.
I've never really understood why they don't do that. Why do you even have a district at that point? Because
it geographically balances a community.
Yeah, it's
so that you have somebody, because these are the guys that decide, or guys or gals. Mike Gaskell's wife is actually a county commissioner in Madison County. So he has, I'm sure, both Mike and Kelly have been here.
I am voting on a commissioner.
They have knowledge of what a commissioner does.
I have a commissioner that is supposed to represent my bottom third of the county.
Yes.
It's that pickle beer. And
your body is rejecting it.
My vote is weighted against someone who lives in Middletown, who's represented by the commissioner in the northern part of the county. It doesn't really make sense.
Well, you get to vote for them too, right?
You vote for all three commissioners.
I think the problem...
They're at large. Basically, they're elected at large. So 50,000 people in Henry County decide who our commissioners are. But what happens is that they require that they live in a geographic area. So we don't end up with 3 commissioners from Newcastle, Dakota.
Right, yeah.
That's why
I get that.
That's why that exists.
But I don't get why the voting discrepancy.
Because you vote, everybody votes
so I think so. Here's a good reason why, right? So, and it's the power of cities, right? Which is kind of why we have, to some degree, like why we vote in the U.S. the way we vote. But Newcastle would run the whole show for the middle district, or whatever. Yeah, like
in theory,
they would swing the vote every time. So you would have essentially you would get a Democratic.
In Henry Township, a good example is Henry Township. Henry Township has 2 of our 4 county council seats here.
Right.
So one is represented by Ken and Gray, and the other one is represented by Chad Malico.
Right. Both Republicans, though.
Both Republicans now, but those were the 2 Democrat seats until 4 years ago and 2 years ago.
Right.
But you're exactly right. There's a much higher chance that
you'd have a Democratic seat there.
You would end up with a seat
sitting there. Yeah,
potentially.
And just based off of the size of Newcastle, it's 40,000, almost 50,000 people, I think.
Newcastle's
like 25.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, the county
has 50.
The county's 50.
But yeah, anyway. So half of the population is in Newcastle.
Yep.
So
and like a third of the rest of the half is in Middletown.
I think they're all related.
I think Knightstown and Middletown each have a couple thousand people.
So we have like roughly 3,000.
They're not that big. I can't wait for Jesse to run for town council in Knightstown. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. All right, let's get to House Bill 1134. Dakota
Screwing third parties.
Is this the right one? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the right one. This one I got from Indy.
This one also caused controversy in the show notes because Dakota put all this in here and says, "Hey, jackass, you didn't listen to your own show last night. We already talked about this."
I said
and you started yelling at him.
I wasn't yelling. But
you were yelling.
There's updates, important updates to this bill.
I was like, we did talk about that last week, though.
Yeah, I knew that you guys did.
Good.
I didn't listen to the show, but
I guarantee he didn't listen. Yeah.
So anyway,
I knew that you were going to bring it up, though. I mean, it's low hanging fruit. You have to.
Yeah.
So as of last week, they were expecting on Thursday of last week for the bill to come for a second reading in the House of Representatives. First reading is when things get assigned to a committee. The committee passed it out. No amendments on a party line, 9-4 vote, 9 Republicans, 4 Democrats. They passed it out. It didn't get called up on the House floor last Thursday. And they said, okay, it's going to slip until Monday. Monday of this week, it got called, and Representative Manning, the author, the guy that's carrying the bill, said, nah, the hell with it. Don't worry about it. Over the weekend, what happened is that the tremendous listenership of the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast all emailed their legislators and said, hey, this is crap. This is unfair. And there was a coordinated effort by the Libertarian Party of Indiana, by media. There were stories in Indianapolis Star.
Did the Green Party of Indiana get involved?
The Green Party did say that this is crap.
I say
they make a Facebook post about it.
George Wolf testified.
Tim should have wrangled those people together, but
Tim McGuire, the outgoing chairman of the Libertarian Party, did work.
Is he for sure outgoing? Yeah?
I was going to say.
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that official though?
Abdul's reporting it.
Oh, in the cheat sheet though.
No, it was on his show.
Oh,
you guys don't consume the local media.
I don't have that kind of money to just give every freaking media outlet money.
Just sell some Doge, man. Just sell some Doge. You got to spread it around. You got to support local media.
You're not going to make any money off Doge if you keep having this mindset.
So anyway,
cryptocurrency is designed to be spent. It's not designed to be hoarded, dude. It's supposed to replace.
Hodled.
I hold all of them except for Dogecoin. I actually have limit sales on that one, but the other ones I just hold and I just never even look at them.
I just like that we diverged off this topic after we started talking about Tim and Abdul.
It happens constantly. I ripped up the show notes earlier and I threw them away.
So I got on Tim for wrangling together the other forming partnership
to organize them. Yeah. And basically what happened is that Representative Manning and whoever was telling Representative Manning to file this bill said, okay, you know what? It's not worth the fight. The hell with it. We're out. Because there were two amendments that were filed, one by Representative Nicely and one by Representative Lucas. Representative Lucas basically said, the hell with this signature thing. Let's just get rid of it. And Representative Nicely trolled everybody and said, okay, we're going to change it from 500 to 498, which is one more than Todd Young got when he couldn't get that many in the first district. And then he said, okay, if you're going to do this 4,500 thing, then you need to go ahead and give election board seats to the Libertarian Party because now you're expecting them to do what everybody else does.
Yep. And
that poison pill, they couldn't vote it down. So then at that point, they just stuck it in a drawer and said, we're done.
Yeah. It's like, you guys are in charge. You have control. Making it more legit for us is not in your favor because we will get our signatures eventually. And then that's going to be bad news bears for you. It would take a long time. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Well, it was unfair. The rules were unfair, and it was obviously retribution for how well Rainwater did. Anybody can see that. And as soon as folks actually start talking about it out loud,
the signatures had to be party members.
No, just registered voters within that district. So in our 6th congressional district, where the Boss Hog Studios sit, 500 people from our congressional district, whether it was in Newcastle, Muncie, Richmond, all the way down to Madison. 500 registered voters would have had to say, yes, I want to see Jesse Riddle's name on the ballot for governor.
Right.
And we get those and then we file it and you're good. That's what would have happened.
Gotcha.
So it basically, when you get to a second reading, any one of the 100 representatives can file an amendment. You can only file an amendment when it's in the committee the first time. Goes through a second reading. If it passes second reading, it comes back a third time to get ratified, and then it switches houses and goes to the Senate, goes through the whole thing again.
Right.
But in this case, it appears to have died because the guy that was carrying the bill just said, we're done. It's over. Henry County news, Dakota.
That's right. Another House bill number 1381.
Let me call timeout just for a half second. I said it's over. Nothing's over until the final gavel in the General Assembly. You could find a bill to stick language in at the last minute, even in conference committee, and it could still come through. So any of these ideas that we talk about, whether they're in active bills or not, things can always happen later.
Yeah.
And no one knows about it. Yeah. Susan Huhn. Yeah. House bill number 1381 drew the attention of Miss Susan Huhn, and she took a trip up to the Indiana State House to talk about this bill. It deals with guidance from the state of Indiana, from the State House, about renewable energy sources. So President Huhn was one of two people that got to testify in front of the Utilities Committee. Ed Soliday is the chairman, and he's also the guy carrying this bill that they were concerned about. Sorry, we're getting a direct message here as we're talking. Stephen Vitito is watching the show. He needs to know we're on the air, Dakota. Call him out. That's unacceptable. He can't talk to the two hosts as they're on the air. Sending me DMs.
We don't have time for that. All right. So, President Huhn basically testified about House Bill 1381.
Yep.
And this would have said your planning commissions don't decide if you can build solar farms, if you can build wind farms, if you can have a prohibition in a county or what the setbacks are. I think we're down to the point where there is no, based upon the ordinance that are here, you can't build an industrial wind farm in Henry County because there are not sites that are far enough off the road away from residences based upon what's here. Representative Soliday says, hey, there's people in, I watched the testimony on this Indiana website. Replay's available. You can catch it anytime you want to. And this utility committee that he's the chair of, and he carried the bill. He said people have come to him, and there have been multiple projects where they've invested millions of dollars coming to Indiana thinking they're getting something built, and the rug gets ripped out from under these guys. So they're like, the hell with you, Indiana. We're not investing anymore. We're done. We're leaving the state. We can't get anything done in your communities. You're not worth it to us. Goodbye. So now the state legislature is looking at it saying, well, now we're losing tax revenue. We're being forced by the federal government to get rid of coal. So now we have to go ahead and backfill with renewables. 34 counties, according to Chairman Soliday, have said, no, we're not having it. They've done what Henry County has. And I think what's getting ready to happen is that the same movement that you've seen in Henry County is now going to be rolling up to the state level. So Chairman Soliday is going to get a taste of the organization and the political might that you've seen completely change Henry County government over the last 5 years. Very likely that you're going to see some of the same challenges and tactics and issues coming for state legislators. It's going to be a controversial bill.
It is kind of a load of crap, though. They're literally ripping
they're taking home
that
rule
power away from counties. Whether you
agree or disagree,
yeah.
What's happening is it is definitely an authority grab by the state. It's an attempt. Whether or not it happens, I don't know. Right now, where they're at is the bill's filed. They started to hear testimony because of COVID. Everything's COVID related, right? Everything's because of COVID. Because of COVID, this committee only has 2 hours in their committee room because they have basically the big Indiana conference room, Indiana General Assembly conference room.
Because they couldn't hold virtual meetings.
They've moved from their actual committee rooms in the State House to where the state representatives are meeting in a giant conference center in the government center next door. That space is what they're also using for committee testimony. And you've got all these committees that are still trying to host their whatever, do their whatever in person with masks and whatever they have, socially distanced, but in person. They only have the room for 2 hours once a week. So they spent like an hour and 40 minutes dealing with one bill, and they had 20 minutes to start to unpack the Soliday bill.
Right.
So Soliday spoke of that 20 minutes, he probably spoke for 10, kind of laying out the groundwork. And then they recognized 2 other people, Susan Huhn from Henry County and then a lady from Farm Bureau. Clock ran out. Sorry, guys, I got to come back next week. Soliday said there's like 26 people that signed up that drove out. Soliday basically advised, hey, we're not going to get a lot more time to talk about this. So if we're going to hear 4 people say the same thing, numbers don't make as much of a difference as just having a good argument. So if you got a good argument, find a spokesperson and come back next week. So this committee will meet again. They'll take it up and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So, but it's the Indiana Utilities Committee. It's a lot of the same people we've talked about. That Representative Manning is on there. There's a Representative Pierce, who's I think the leading Democrat, the ranking Democrat on there. I'm being reminded that a number among the folks that tried to testify, there were a number of Henry County officials. Susan Huhn is the only one that actually did get to speak.
She was first in line.
Yeah.
Well, she was second in line, and the first guy in line
didn't show up, wasn't there,
didn't
or whatever.
show up, yeah.
Yielded their time.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Jesse?
Whatever, man.
You don't care?
No.
You want a windmill in your backyard in Knightstown?
It just doesn't bother me, but whatever. I get some people don't like it. It's fine.
It's the larger contextual issue of if you're going to have a planning committee, why do you have a planning commission if you're going to take away the powers?
That
I
is
mean,
what
I agree with the getting rid of the stripping the county of their rights is ridiculous. Like, obviously, I don't like that part, but
that's what Susan and this whole movement needs to focus on. They need to talk way less about this being about wind and solar.
The argument is you're attacking the principles of counties and county sovereignty, and that's the side you can win the argument on.
Yeah, but these people
you may not win based on your energy policy concerns.
Yeah, I just they didn't talk to the talking points that they should have talked to when they ran. So
right
now realize
that
we look
whole
at
time,
government very differently than a lot of other folks do.
Right,
we look at government as it's somebody with a stick and its force, and those on that committee very well look at that at the power of government as, yes, it's the stick and its force to get what I want to get done.
Right.
We look at it from the position of
give
we're
them a
pretty
fair
much never
shake. They
in
think
power.
it's a force to do good in my eyes.
Sure.
That's what they think.
They can attempt it all day long.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's, guns and violence and people bleed. Whenever your good idea is not good enough, somebody has to back it up with a gun. That's what's going to happen here as well. It's eventually it gets to,
I was going to say,
you can't do it. There's going to be conflict.
And if it goes to the state level, then all of these counties are going to lose. Like, because again, the populations of Indiana are the cities, and the city people want clean energy. Like, because that's just who they are. Even though they don't understand. Like,
they don't understand it.
I'm kind of on their side. Like, we have people here who've wanted to put up these things. As long as my tax money isn't going towards it, I really don't care.
As a community, it's not a good look if you're constantly saying no to everything.
Well,
if you're saying no to solar, if you're saying no to every development that comes down the line, at some point we have to say, you know what? We do need to have jobs. We can't all remote work. We have to be able to build some stuff too.
Well, I think that was.
I don't understand the argument against solar. I understand the argument against windmills because of the setbacks that are required. So you can't go, oh, this spot right here next to Highway 69 is a fantastic place to build a subdivision, is a fantastic place to develop shopping centers. And this is a good place to slap a movie theater in here. You can't develop those other areas, or this is a great place for a factory for other jobs. You can't develop that land for anything else. And it just gets wasted. So because of the setbacks, because there's a lot more land that goes into a windmill than just its footprint.
Sure,
I guess is what I'm saying. And if you have a wind farm, then you're talking about hundreds of acres that are gone.
Yeah, it's going up north on 65.
Yeah. I understand that argument against the windmills for sure. I think it's the best argument against the windmills because I think
you're choosing not to have economic opportunity.
Well, the dead birds, they make people sick. They make the cows grow 3 years.
The setbacks were up for discussions when they were trying to put them here, though. Like, the setbacks were like 2,000 feet or something. I can't remember. There was something crazy. And then, like, the windmills are rated at a certain setback, and then like the counties were trying to like double it or triple it or something.
Correct. Yeah. The setback that Henry County has in place now is intentionally large enough so that there is not a pinpoint on the map of the county that you could construct these. Correct. And you can't just build one to be a wind farm to be commercially viable. That's not
technically true, though. Like, they could go in. Well, is it based? So here's my question. Is it based on?
It's a poison pill. No. There is nowhere that you can do it. They're all too close to the road. The setback is now based upon the road, and there's not it's a 1 mile grid. You can't get far enough away to build one anywhere.
Okay. My question was, what is the thing that they're basing? Is it property? You can just buy that property.
No, it's the county roads. Yeah. Unless you start, tearing up roads.
You could still squeeze one over there by Danny somewhere, but there's a huge.
Cade Coger would have done it by now.
Anyway, there's a poison pill. They've thought of it. You can't do it. All okay. Right. That's the reality of it. Whether or not you like the policy or not, that's where we're sitting today.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that they changed it to the roads. So.
Yeah, that happened with the new commissioners.
But my advice to Susan is don't make this about wind and solar, and make this about
losing your authority as planning commissions
as county officials.
And she made a very compelling case on that point. I think she had excellent testimony. Whether or not the people that are hearing it on the committee care, that's one issue. Even if something passes a committee doesn't mean it actually is going to get through the entire General Assembly. You have to get through, like we talked about a moment ago, you have to get through first reading, second reading, committee, third reading, switch sides, and get a governor's signature. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get there. We'll see.
Which is a good thing.
All right. This is the one that I put in here entirely because I know Jesse is going to enjoy it.
New police toys.
New police toys.
Yep. The Newcastle City Council has talked about on Monday using the public safety LOAT funds to purchase new $2,500 license plate capturing cameras. They're going to purchase 4 of these $2,500 cameras.
Sounds like they would put them on each side of town. So coming and going in town, they can create a hot list.
Yep,
38 east and west, 3 north and south, essentially. So
The 2 state roads.
you would, they literally say in the article that they would use this to create a hot list of people that are traveling from out of town, out of state.
Yeah.
Does this seem fraught with issues to you, Jesse?
Yeah, it just seems like a massive amount of profiling. But I mean, I guess I'm pissed because it's Lloyd funds to begin with, which we already went back and we've told them, because for those who don't know, and this is probably true for every county, is that they go back and ask for more Lloyd money, and they say they use it for emergency responders and shit. And then they come through and they're like, no, we're just buying fucking privacy invasive shit to like scan you.
We're buying cameras.
Yeah, we're buying cameras and developing like the Big Brother, and here you
cameras that have an artificially inflated price because the only people that buy them are government, and the companies that manufacture them know that, so they know that they can inflate the prices.
So just think for a second like you're a litigator, Dakota. If you say you come rolling in from Kosciuszko County, and you're an old looking car, you're going to get pulled over just because you don't belong here. You're not from here. You're the different car, so you're the one we're going to bother. They get a little spreadsheet and a little alert that says, hey, there's a red Buick that just came into town. Or say you're visiting a friend up in Kokomo. You live here. Now you're GMC. You just rolled into Kokomo and you don't belong, so the cops are going to hassle you. Just because you're visiting.
Which they already do without this stuff.
Right, but now they've got an alert. It's literally a beacon that says, hey, look for this car. This guy just came rolling into town. Why is he here?
Yeah, and they'll put them on state roads, which I wonder if the state could be like, yeah, you can't do that. But
they're in on the game too.
Well, yeah, I know. But what I guess is the state police department going to get this data? Are they going to be like, hey, look, if you let them put us on the roads, we'll give you the data? Like, I don't know. Like, it's definitely, it's gross. And I am not surprised that our Lloyd money that these fucking politicians cried over to say that they needed to pay all their people and the paramedics are being used to buy this shit.
And now look, if you're a police officer, of course you want the toys. Of course you want all the data, everything you can have.
You want your job to be easy.
You want police. You want to be able to scan
you
cars
sit in your fat ass and eat
figure it out.
Fucking donut and get an alert so you can get your fat ass in the car and pull somebody over who's not from here. And they're probably going to be black.
Schofield said the stationary police plate reader would be the way to go. They're up 24 hours a day, unlimited monitoring. They can read 45,000 license plates a day. Help us identify stolen vehicles.
That doesn't even make sense.
Murder suspects, because murder suspects roll through town every day. Silver and amber alerts and more.
Also, yeah, like murder suspects. I guess, yeah, like they know they drive a certain type of vehicle.
We can move them if there are pockets of crime in any particular area.
I don't know what these
We're finding tons of Indianapolis cars over here. The cameras are solar powered.
Nope.
And we can create our own hot list. It's a proactive way of policing.
I don't understand. So I was reading this earlier and it says it can scan up to 45,000. I'm like, is that a software limit? Like that is it like a GPS or not GPS? Sorry, a cellular like transmitter in there. And like, we're paying this company to house the data.
I'm guessing that it's unlimited, but they're saying that they're going to have 45,000 vehicles a day. I'm guessing it's based upon the traffic counts of the roads is what they're guessing they're going to go.
Oh, okay. I was going to say from
these are the high
licensing.
These are the high traffic areas, and this is the traffic count we expect because NDOT knows how many people run on each of these roads.
And most people that are coming in those roads are leaving, so you're going to get the same license plate.
They're very well, yeah. And now we know exactly when you came into town, when you left, Mr. Riddle.
Well, no, they don't.
So what did you do with that 2 hours?
Come in those two roads, but I purposely don't come those ways, but
I ate at Los Amigos.
I purposely
Does it take 2 hours to eat at Los Amigos?
Yeah. I purposely don't take I-70 a lot of the times.
You had an extra hour to steal the ducks out of Memorial Park, Riddle.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Yeah, it's just like, again, it's just annoying because we sat at that Lloyd meeting and just heard them crying. And then like they turn around and we said, no, you're not. You're going to end up buying a bunch of like police gear, or like we said, not obviously it's police gear, but, what is it? Militarization gear. And arguably this is just as bad. It's a spyware, like, or spy gear for them. And
if you're doing nothing wrong, you have nothing to be worried about.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Whatever.
Yes, of course the police want the tools. No, we shouldn't do this. This is a terrible, terrible plan.
Yes. You
Right?
should go be a police officer. Go sign up to do your job. Do it the right way. Don't spy on everyone just so that you can get in the one murder suspect you'll get every day.
Jesse Riddle wants all of his police officers to be like Barney Fife and only have one bullet.
Look, yes, in theory, if some Yahoo's coming through and you know you're looking for a certain license plate number, yes, could probably work out. But you can't be running a search on every person constantly observing everything they do.
But it's silly to have in a city of 25,000 people.
And so that's the other thing is you could develop this thing, and I'm not saying that they should, because the reason is they will,
this is opportunity for abuse.
No, it's just absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? You could build this to where you inject a plate, which they kind of do. There's a TV show on CBS called Hunted?
Murder, She Wrote.
No, Hunted, I think is what it's called.
She Wrote.
So anyway, in Hunted, they kind of go through and like they simulate people on the run, and they've got like people from the FBI and all kinds of like private investigators and all these people, and they got them in a situational room, and they have like so many days. These people are like, if you can evade us for X amount of time, you win X amount of money. But these people have obviously these people have written their like lives away, and so these people are essentially hacking these people,
right?
And so you could put
they're saying let's play this game.
Yeah. So one thing that was very eye opening to me that I didn't really truly understand was that these cameras they're putting on the interstate, they can scan license plates, and so they would enable these and they would put in the license plates that they know of these people, and as soon as they get a hit, they would get in their vehicles and drive and get them. So what I'm saying is, if they were looking for someone, the most least invasive way, if you're going to do this, is like it's only looking for certain plates and everything else gets sent to what
you're the most compromising anarchist ever.
No. I'm just saying, as an engineer,
you're the worst anarchist ever. You have heard of me.
Yeah, as an engineer, like if you're like, yes, we have to push forward. I'm like, well, don't scan everything and send it to the database. Just look for the ones you're looking for,
right,
and then send the alert. Everything else gets sent to what we call dev null, which is essentially fucking nowhere.
The graveyard.
Yeah, it's just it goes in memory and just vanishes.
Just gone.
So but
then we'll be like, well, we had the scanner and John came through town and we have no idea because we weren't saving that.
Yeah.
So then the next administration, once these tools are in place, the next administration is going to say, no, we're going to keep it all.
Right.
Because we need to.
Because absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Group one buys the tools. Group two ruins them. Yep. Right. That's what's going to happen.
Yep.
It's the exact same conversation about the force of government. You say, well, my guys aren't going to do anything wrong, so we want to give the state the power to make decisions over local ordinances.
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about Biden and Musk today. Apparently,
he didn't make the show notes.
I didn't get a chance to read the article.
It doesn't stop you from throwing in 3 fake articles that were last year.
One fake article.
We could toss that in for final thoughts. That's the end of the Newcastle City thing. We'll run it over to Jesse, and I had sent an article up. I offered it up to the grand poobah of show notes, and it didn't make it. But Joe Biden and Elon Musk are fighting. Jesse, did you read the article?
I read the article. Well, because I wanted to see like how much. I don't like clickbaity titles, and it had a very clickbaity title, and it's the Washington Times.
Set it up. What happened?
So I think really what's going on. Well, so SpaceX just launched a rocket the other day, right?
It blew up,
and it blew up
last month.
Well, and we had So the article was written to kind of say that Biden is essentially like trying to squash everything, and he's not allowed to have like any flights going off or something. I don't know.
He's shrinking the ability of the private sector to be in space.
Yeah. So
Trump got very, very chummy with SpaceX.
Yep.
And I gave them a lot of autonomy.
Yep. Yeah, because Trump gave them a lot of autonomy, and I think Biden's like it's literally just like they did that. So, and even though he may be on board, it's like, since Trump did it, I just not our policy. We can't we can't like anything Trump did, and like it's literally just to spite Trump and the right. And I'm like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I was like, we have cut costs by like 50 or 60%.
The private sector is handling
years.
Space.
Yeah, in years.
And now we're saying, well, we're going to use the force of the FAA to say, you can't fly that here.
Yeah, so I think...
So we're going to move it to Mexico.
I heard, and I have not fact-checked this, but I believe he did not have clearance to fly it that day, and it blew up. So
oops.
Yeah, but guess what? No one got freaking hurt, and it's fine. Like they put these things in places for
guess
reasons.
What? He's also the richest man in the world.
Yeah,
I'll pay your $20 fine.
So that's
Joe.
that's the other thing, right? So he said, when we get to Mars, they're not going to have U.S. based laws or no, Earth based laws.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
And that is like a stickler because he's saying this stuff, but he's intertwined with government. Like that's their argument they're making. I'm like, well, of course he's intertwined with government because they control the airspace. He doesn't get to control that. Like you guys don't like. You can't say like, well, he's rubbing arms with the government, so he has to do what they want. No,
they also hire him for shipments to the International Space Station.
Well, that's what they're saying.
He's a contractor
right?
now.
But yes, they do hire
SpaceX
him.
is a contractor.
But he has to rub shoulders with them either way because they have guns pointed at everybody who's trying to launch anything into the air, and they're going to. So he has to be friendly with them, and he probably part of him doing that is so that he gets clearance. And so what I would love is be like, oh, all right, well, you're not going to get any of my business. Yeah. And I would go, and China will.
Yeah, I'd be like, call up Jeff Bezos and see how Blue Origin's doing.
Yeah. Well, so he stepped down, and I'm wondering
from Amazon
as CEO. He's put his. He's
still the executive president.
He's going to be on the board. He's not.
Yeah, he's going to be the president,
the day-to-day guy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he hasn't technically stepped down just yet. It's like in a month or so, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it is just.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm curious if that is so he can work on Blue Origin.
That's what he said.
Oh, did he? I haven't read anything.
He said that he was going to focus most of his energy on Blue Origin and the Washington Post or whatever.
Right. Well, because look what happened. He's pissed that we lost, and now he's sitting under Biden. So he needs to make sure he has a propaganda machine to make sure that he wins next time. So
That's
Bezos.
probably more true.
Bezos, yeah. And I mean, well, so Bezos has that.
We going Bezos for president 2024?
I'm not, but Bezos has a paper. Mark Benioff has a paper. He has the Time magazine, and like all these guys are buying these propaganda machines, which sounds like conspiracy theory, but it isn't because they literally own this shit.
Why do we still call them papers, Jesse? They're websites.
No, well,
They're
the Times magazine is a legit still magazine.
Sure, but
like they're only known for the covers. If they went digital, that thing wouldn't sell anything.
It's true.
All right.
Just like when Playboy took out the naked ladies.
Yeah, and
everyone was like, "What?"
So,
when was the last time you held a newspaper in your hand, Jesse?
I bought an LA Times newspaper when we stopped at the airport in LA.
I don't know. It's been a long
because
time.
it was so big. It's just like 2 inches thick.
I don't like them.
That's
like
2 inches
your hand.
big,
Like I don't like how they make my hands feel. Like it's very weird. Well, no. I'm saying like they like your moisture just gets sucked out of your hands, and then you have ink all over them.
Oh wait, I held a newspaper Tuesday. I got my free edition of the Epoch Times.
Epoch or Epic?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
EPOCH.
Yeah,
Epic.
Dakota mispronounces so many names. It is a running joke on the show.
But Epoch is how they pronounce the time standard that's used on Unix systems. But it's usually Epic. EPOCH.
I just know that like every quarter they send me a free newspaper.
What is it about?
It's a right wing newspaper.
Great.
It's for boomers. It is.
Sounds like it.
Obviously, it's printed.
Yeah.
And it's printed on
and I can't
real newspaper.
So the best part about those like low marketed or the advertisements. Are there advertisements?
I don't ever read it. It goes straight into the trash can.
You should open it and look. That's what I love are the advertisements.
It's just penis pills.
It's just the wackest, whatever they can do to get $1 to help fund their newspaper. And it'll be like Joe Bob's like country store. And he'll be like, come on down. They have like all these like ridiculous things. It's so good. There's another one.
I can't believe you don't clip coupons, Jesse. Honestly, I am truly shocked you don't
That's
spend
a
your
waste
Saturdays
of time.
clipping coupons.
You took cans. You drove from Knightstown to Newcastle for $4 in cans.
In aluminum cans. I literally lectured Dakota and I for not saving the cans in the studio.
They're worth like 2 cents.
Hey guys, these are a penny a piece. Can you just keep them in a bucket over there? And then I'll come back in a couple of weeks and I'll make 40 cents. Thanks.
Well, I would just add them to my. I would build my bags as you would call it in crypto.
Right.
I would build my bags of aluminum.
God forbid you save a coupon for Kraft mac and cheese.
I don't eat Kraft mac and cheese. I just buy I buy regular noodles and then I make cheese.
Are you a Kroger Plus member?
No.
Maybe.
Actually, no, I don't think I am yet.
Creaston Kronk says Dakota's always pronounced my name right. Just saying.
Creaston
Yeah, you're
Kronk.
the one that always gets it wrong.
Was it
The
Christen?
only reason I know that is because my best friend in high school had a girlfriend. He was dating this girl named Kirsten. And I know that it was like a big pet peeve of hers when people said Kristen or Kirsten or whatever.
I'm pushing.
It's the only reason I know it.
I'm pushing 40, and in my defense, the size of the text that's so way the hell down there.
Maybe you should get better glasses.
I just got Dr. Horn. He upped me. He increased me again.
Do you have glasses?
Contacts.
Oh yeah,
Worn them for years.
you're weak. We both are weak.
Dakota just wears his glasses because he thinks they look cool.
Only
He
one
does look
eye
better
of
in
mine
them,
is
though.
weak.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's my right eye.
but right eye.
My right eye.
It's my shooting eye.
It is my shooting eye. I'm right eye dominant.
But yeah,
And it's
anyway,
the one that's crap.
I'm getting just slayed in the chat room now for who would say Kirsten wrong. It could be Christy. It could be Kristen. It could be Kirsty. There's 1,000 different ways to
Kirsty.
say
I know a
Cake.
Kirsty,
Did you just say Kirsty?
Kirsty. Kirsty Lee.
crusty and crispy.
All right. Anything else on your final thoughts over there, Mr.
Well, my final
Mr.
thoughts have
Riddle?
nothing to do with Elon, but
I pitched it up for you.
I know. But no final thoughts. Just get into crypto. Get into crypto. That's all I'm going to say.
That's not my
every
final
time,
thoughts.
every single time.
I don't
have any final thoughts. Don't you put final thoughts in my final thoughts. I'll do this by myself. I don't have any. Who's next? I passed my time. Jackass.
I love it. It's very Seinfeld-ish.
But I want to get into this. Did you not used to make fun of me for Seinfeld and say Seinfeld's stupid? You
No,
said
that was me that used to do that.
Jesse did it before.
No,
you
so
did.
there is a time in my life where I said Seinfeld was not funny.
Right.
And I said that and most of it, and my friend Mark's this way too, but it's the damn slap bass, like the funk bass, like that is so annoying. And it's like hard to get over
soundtrack.
that. Yeah. Plus there's like laugh tracks, but I never sat down.
Comedy is great.
The comedies, yeah, it's the funniest show ever made.
I said that
I've rewatched it. Like I'm like on my
time
time
out.
going through it.
Dakota acts like Seinfeld is shit, but he loves Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's the same thing.
It is not the same.
Actually,
style
I would say
comedy
Curb
at
is
all.
worse, but yeah,
It's the same. It's Larry David.
Curb
Larry
is
David, though.
Curb is way more dry comedy. But if you view Seinfeld through the lens of it being the first like comedy sitcom like that, then it's really good.
I don't think it was.
But there's so many.
sitcom.
But there
Because
that made
Cheers
it big.
didn't exist.
Eh.
See, I think people.
I like Cheers actually.
People are
Cheers
trying
is
to-
actually a pretty good show.
So speaking of Cheers,
Everybody likes drinking.
everyone likes it's like Seinfeld or Frasier, and I'm like these two shows are not the same. They're not the same type of comedy,
Right.
Like at all. Like Frasier is. I don't like it because it's
cerebral.
It's cerebral, and they try way too hard to make it funny. Like it's just like over the top, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
See,
like,
I feel that way about Seinfeld. I
Seinfeld-
think that George is super annoying.
George is.
but he's real. Like there are real people who are like that, and like it's a.
I
real
don't want to be
person.
around those
It's
people.
Larry David. George is Larry David.
I think they did model it after him.
Yeah, and
But Larry David being himself in the show is what makes it so funny.
I will say though, Seinfeld does jump the shark probably around season 6. Whenever George starts working for the New York Mets or New York Yankees.
That's all.
when you
That's-
Yankee bastards coming to Houston, that is the best ever.
No.
I didn't know that there were ever Seinfeld episodes where George didn't work for the.
George worked for all kinds
George,
of companies.
so here's the thing. George almost never works. That was like his first main stable job. Like he was not working.
Maybe I should give it more of a chance.
Jason Alexander literally figured out, like in season 2, he's like, holy shit, I'm playing the writer. I've been playing him wrong the whole time.
Right.
He is, that's who I'm supposed to be playing. I'm supposed to be playing Larry David. Once he figured that out, he was spot on. He was great.
Yeah. And I would say the first 2 or 3 episodes are rough of season 1.
Yeah. Yeah. The first season is not good. They took a little while to find their, especially the pilot. The pilot is trash.
The pilot is really bad.
I've
Pilot's
never tried to
trash.
watch it like that. I just would catch it in high school,
Yeah. So that's
like
my thing.
on late night TV, and I'd be like, God,
Approach
this
it
is
as
just
an
annoying.
adult. And I think that
completely different
that is the problem is like I was coming at it as a young person and I'm like, this it's not even relatable because I wasn't an adult yet.
I always felt like Kramer was super like annoying because he was just over the top and trying too hard.
I'm like Kramer.
He is Kramer. It's the driving to Michigan for goddamn cans. That is what Jesse is.
Or having 1,000 stupid business ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a coffee table book about coffee tables.
Yeah.
Right.
Which he did well with, and I would expect so.
So, but my point is when I'm going to try to roll all this together, when GameStop was going to $400, that was the GIF I shared, was Costanza driving his in-laws out to the end of the Hamptons. Like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts, guys. Just keep shoveling money into this thing and nobody's going to call our bluff. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I still hold one share of GameStop.
It's worth $80. You own a whole share?
Mm-hmm.
Did you lose money?
No, because you
didn't hold the line.
I bought a couple shares.
Yeah.
And whenever it really shot up, I was like, well, I'll sell one. And then because I sold it at such a high price.
Have they talked about how many people have lost money?
Then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it goes back down to $3 at this point. I've still made money.
No, I know. I was just curious if, because it's the same thing with crypto. That's why I think I said 3 shows ago, is everybody's getting in this thing. It's going to skyrocket.
Go up and it's going to
everybody's going to buy because everybody's like, hold the line.
Right.
And like, everybody's like, oh, they're going to hold. They're going to hold. And then like people get in, they're like, fuck you.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's very predictable.
Yeah. It's pump and dump. That's what it is. And I said, why are we pump and dumping GameStop? That is the worst company to pump.
Doge is 52.50 right now. 0.525.
I know. I about bought more.
Are you going to get to 6?
I about bought $600 worth before I came on here.
Let's do
Hold
it.
on a second. Yeah, never mind. You guys just keep going.
What?
Nothing.
What were you going to say?
Nothing. It doesn't matter. I'm going to just say one more time. I'm going to hold my GameStop stock for forever until I retire.
That's
they're going to
go bankrupt.
Before
somebody's going to buy them.
They are.
GameStop's lost $30 today. It was $80 this morning. It is now $49.
I don't care.
When
Screw
GameStop
'em, I
gets
still
back,
made money.
when GameStop gets back down to about $5, I'll be like, hey guys, I got 20 GameStop.
Cut your losses, sell that, and buy Doge, and then make your money back.
I did get. So what's
You
funny
should sell
about all
right
this is that I got into Reddit, and like for a minute there, I got super into investing, and I perused Wall Street Bets all the time because they have a daily thread.
Yep.
It's like, what money moves are you making today? And people would, before all of this, now it's just spammed.
Now it's
with
just trash.
What's
AMC.
people going? Well, how do I sign up for an account?
There's like 4 million more members.
That's
I
the
know.
place you should have been spamming your link to Robinhood.
What's
Yeah.
really fun? Keep going. Sorry, I'm going to say
But
something.
so anyway, I would always be on Wall Street Bets, and I saw in December.
It's going to be the longest final thoughts ever. We're still on Jesse.
This is my final thoughts. Jesse already.
I have more.
This is my final
It's a
thoughts.
continuation, though.
So I saw in like December, we're buying up GameStop, whatever, and I was like, this is dumb
Yeah.
because it had gone up a little bit. It really had. I was like, this is stupid. It's gonna fizzle out. And then I bought in a couple weeks ago, literally the week before it, like people started freaking out, and I thought, oh, I did pretty good, but now it's like a principle thing.
Yeah,
It's like I have to hold it. I'm never going to give it up.
that's fine. I own a lot of Hemp Inc. company, 20-some thousand shares. I've lost $560-some on it.
But you're going to keep it forever.
Well, I'll have those.
That's why
You're going
sell
to have
it.
those.
It's worth $50.
I did lose money on AMC. I thought AMC's going to be the next one. I bought it before Robinhood took it off.
Right.
And
You bought it at the peak.
No. Before that, I could have made money if I didn't think this is going to keep going. It's going to be the next GameStop. I was like, this is going to be the next GameStop. I'm going to be that guy that's got 30 shares and it's going to skyrocket up to $400 a share, just like GameStop. It never did. And my sell limit was reached. I lost like $80 before whenever it sold.
Yeah.
And it's never recovered. But anyway, Wall Street Bets is now horrible. And all you people that got in on Reddit because of GameStop, freaking stop. It's awful. I hate seeing the constant posts over and over again saying that, are we still, there's people on there that are like, are we still holding GameStop?
Dude, it's the same because you guys have never been in crypto. You've never been exploring this like wet behind the ears investor mentality where everyone's like, how do I get it? I want to get in. And you're like, it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah.
And so my point I wanted to kind of jump back to was like, I've been wanting to build, it's kind of ironic because this is kind of what the NASDAQ, I think, or the New York Stock Exchange is going to start like, freezing. I forget what they call it, but, when they stop trading, halt trading, if social media is like a lit. I was like, I've been wanting to build this tool forever for like Reddit and stuff and Facebook crypto groups to be like, what coins are getting referenced the most, and be like, as I see them start trending, and be like, and I'm putting my money in. Because like as soon as I start seeing it like ramping up, I'm like, all right, a bunch of dumbasses are going to be buying into this, and I'm going to set. So like typically what I'm going to start doing now for my like stuff like is a little bit more risky. I'm going to set my limit, and I have some things where like if it gets to a certain value, like Cardano for example is one I'm really like bullish on. Like I've said, I'm going to get it like there's an opportunity. I got in at like 9 cents or 10 cents, whatever. If it can get to $1, I will sell what I've put in, and then I will play with house money the rest of the time. And then I don't care.
Right.
And then I can do really dumb ideas, which is what I did the last time. I've never lost money in crypto, like over like the long run. I just play with house money. Like I get up to a certain amount and I take my house money out. So, or not house money. I just play with house money.
All right. I've got some thank yous. Saturday, Patreon member Jared Burcham came over, did some electrical work for me. It was awesome. Saturday afternoon, we had a horrendous snowstorm and rainstorm. Froze up my outside. I have a heat pump, an air sourced heat pump. Created a giant icicle in my outside heat pump condenser, the big fan outside, to the point where the fan stopped working. So I thawed it out, hooked up a water hose to the hot water, and melted it all. Pulled the power plug so I didn't kill myself. And then it would not come back on. So
your heat pump?
My heat pump, outdoor condenser. So on Monday, Bob Justice Heating and Air came out, hooked me back up, got me fixed, got it all going. Awesome guy. But as I was trying to diagnose it and fix it myself on Sunday, I slipped on the ice, climbing over the dog fence to make sure that my dog doesn't piss on the air conditioner compressor, because dog pee will just completely destroy your air conditioner.
Weird.
So it will. It will.
Any urine or just dog urine?
I mean, usually
Can I pee on your heat compressor, Jared? Or
I've honestly not spent a lot of time worrying that you would, but male dogs usually do like to piss on that.
Sure.
Kind of
No,
thing.
I'm just curious.
Right. I guess vagrants on the street, friends could come by and just be pissing back there, and I don't know. But I put a little fence up so that it wasn't a problem, because that thing sits in my backyard where the dog runs free.
Right.
He lives back there, so I'm keeping him where he needs to be. So it was snowy, icy, whatever. I slipped and I hurt myself. So I hurt my neck. So all week I've been fighting this. My poor wife has been dealing with me and my neck that's been awful. So I visited our friends over at Young Family Chiropractic. Cracked me perfectly. Good to go. All set. Awesome. So shout out to those guys. They are excellent.
Fix your neck.
Need a chiropractor? Go see him. Yeah. Dr. Young, Memorial Drive, south side of Newcastle. Also, real quick in my final thoughts, I know we've been following the story on the Henry County Commissioners and their open door law violation concern. Chris Bilbrey, we've talked about a number of times tonight. He filed his complaint. The public access counselor, so the attorney for the state, said, yes, you're right, Bilbrey. Henry County screwed up. Indiana's on your side. They violated the open door rules. So whether or not there's some litigation, I don't know. If you want to see the actual story, I know Bilbrey shared it. I shared his post. You can go read it over there. Full 4-page summary from the attorney at the state explaining it. And then there's Ed Tarantino's letter that he sent in response. Tarantino essentially tried to say that it was a caucus. Since they were all Republicans, they could talk amongst themselves about political decisions, and that was the view that they took. The state attorney said, no, we don't believe that. You violated the open door rules, firing Joel Harvey, hiring Martin Shields. You need to do that in a public meeting. You're wrong. My contention is that the only reason we have any of this is because of the pandemic. They had to meet on Zoom, so we actually had a written and audio of actual record of what was done. It wasn't hearsay. It wasn't just in a meeting, or it wasn't them on the phone.
Right.
You had admission by Ed Tarantino in a Zoom meeting in one of their work sessions as to, hey, we did this, and that's the reason it happened.
Yeah, he should probably consult his attorney next time he talks.
I think that what we need to push for as citizens of the community is that anytime there's a public meeting, we need to have them use the live stream software. They've paid for it. The equipment's there, and they've not made it a priority. It has taken months, and the courthouse doesn't have it. They've had it.
Ed
and they
Tarantino keeps saying,
they blamed 9-Star. They blamed everybody. Nobody's taking responsibility for it. Now you have a legitimate open door violation concern.
And here's the deal.
Right now they're doing live streams, and they're not even doing live streams appropriately. They're using the courthouse, and then they're putting it on Zoom. So now nobody can hear a damn thing because it's all with the crappy audio quality of a Zoom mic in the room with the worst acoustics on earth.
Right.
And they're streaming it, and nobody can hear jack shit.
Here's the
Terrible.
deal. Ed Tarantino keeps blaming all this on 9-Star. Meanwhile, in the middle of all this, the Newcastle City Council has a meeting in the old courthouse so that they can be properly socially distanced, and they live streamed it with the equipment that they use to live stream the city council meetings. He literally just moved their camera over and got a live stream going. I just don't understand what's so hard about it.
They need to make it a priority. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Every public meeting in that room needs to have it, whether it's a county council meeting, whether it's the planning commission, if it's a county commissioners meeting, or if it is the soil and water, whatever board it is that's meeting in there, Board of Zoning Appeals, they all use that space. They need to turn the cameras on. They need to put them out on YouTube, and they need to be available.
Especially
you can look
these
at
meetings that are done in the middle of the day.
Right. You can go back and look at any one of these committee testimonies that are done at the Indiana State House. Beautiful, high quality, well done video. Damn it, we paid for the equipment. Let's go. It's time. They've talked about it for 4 years that this is going to happen.
I say we've been working on this for internally.
And they now it's not a priority. Not a priority. Dakota, you can press the button. We can talk about it offline. This has been a fun episode. We'll be back next Thursday. We'll see y'all then.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians Network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at wearelibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. And we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to wearelibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.